After the city fell, the princess and I were forced into prostitution for the soldiers. My brother became a general for the rebels. He was allowed to pick one of the camp prostitutes to take away. I thought he would choose me, but he took the princess without a second thought. As he was leaving, he didn't forget to tell me, "Won't be long. I'll come back for you soon." But he never came. Instead, while I was being brutally violated, he was praying with the princess. When I opened my eyes again, I was back at the moment my brother had to choose. Lin Mo carefully picked up Princess Luine. He didn't even glance at me in the camp. This time, I just watched calmly. Just as Lin Mo was about to leave the camp, as if remembering something, he turned around. He searched for me among the terrified girls. Again, Princess Luine tugged at his sleeve, begging him not to choose me. When Lin Mo saw me, he hesitated, looking apologetic. He said almost the same thing as in my past life. "Xiao Xiao, wait for me. I'll come back for you soon." I didn't nod in fear this time, hoping he'd save me. My lips curled in disdain. I let out a faint, scornful laugh. Lin Mo only had eyes for his little princess. He was in a hurry to take her away. He didn't notice the cold smile on my lips. Lin Mo took away the coveted princess, and left me in the wolves' den. I would face torment 100 times worse than the other prostitutes. Several northern Rome soldiers spat at Lin Mo's retreating back, then strode toward me with dark looks. Their blatant, appraising stares were like looking at a lamb for slaughter. Lin Mo's sister looks delicate too, not as good as the princess, but fair-skinned and tender. When we have our fun later, I wonder if she'll cry for her brother to save her. My fingers tightened. My nails dug painfully into my palms. In my past life, the first time I was violated, I cried until I couldn't breathe. I kept calling for Lin Mo. All it brought me was more and longer torment. They had already figured out Lin Mo would never dare to come save me. My cries only fueled their animalistic desires. So, this time when they dragged me up, pulling hard on my arms, I didn't cry or beg. My reaction took these northern Rome men by surprise. They got no pleasure from my struggle or resistance. A hard slap landed on my face. "You bitch, cat got your tongue, playing the chaste one with us. When we have our way with you later, see if you can stay quiet." They burst into laughter. They kicked me to the ground, grabbed my long hair and dragged me outside. The pain made me gasp. I deliberately dragged my feet, waiting for a chance. Just as I was about to be dragged out of the tent, someone suddenly lifted the flap. It was an attendant from the northern Rome prince's side. "Any of you know how to dance? The grand prince wants a few pretty camp women who can dance, to liven things up." In my past life, I missed this. I was dragged outside, before I heard the attendant's message. But, my brother and I were slaves in the princess's household. We never had the chance to learn refined things like dancing or music. I wanted to cry for help, but those lust-crazed northern Rome men simply wouldn't let me speak. This time, because I stalled, I ran into the messenger. I struggled desperately, grabbing his sleeve. I deliberately tilted my face, still flushed, and looking even more pitiful, and begged him quickly, "Sir, I can dance. I'm the princess's maid. I learned alongside her. Beauty, sometimes, is a sharp blade for revenge." The attendant's gaze clearly lingered on my face. The northern Rome soldiers weren't happy. They came to cover my mouth. "Don't listen to her nonsense. She doesn't want to serve men, so she's making things up." I dodged their grabbing hands, and hid at the attendant's feet. "I'm not lying. My name is Lin Shi. I was captured from the princess's residence. If you don't believe me, sir, you can check. I come from a servant background. I know best how to serve." As I spoke, I slightly raised the corners of my eyes, letting a hint of innocent allure show. Just as I had planned, when the filthy northern Rome men came to grab my hair again, the grand prince's attendant stopped them. "Don't touch her. She's pretty, and she can dance. She'll be presented to the grand prince later." Seeing their prey about to slip away, the northern Rome men still wouldn't give up. "Let us have some fun with her first, then send her to the grand prince. She'll just be a lowly plaything for him anyway." My heart tightened again. The attendant glared at them. "There are plenty of women in the military camp. You dare compete with the crown prince for women? Have a death wish?" After being scolded, the northern Rome soldiers reluctantly gave up. When I left the military brothel, those gazes were still glued to me, looking at the moonlight in the sky. I realized my back was soaked in cold sweat. The night wind blew, and my body couldn't help but tremble slightly. But I did it. I've already changed the course of my past life by relying on myself. In another tent, a dozen beautiful young women sat in sorrow, silently weeping. They were all chosen dancers, not yet recovered from the grief of their fallen kingdom. They would soon have to dance for the enemy prince and ministers, for their amusement. Only I wasn't crying. Having experienced that treatment in my past life, I never gave up. I kept waiting for my brother to save me. In this life, I must rely on myself to climb to the highest position, and make those who betrayed and hurt me pay the price. I found the guard, and asked for rouge and powder. A flash of wariness crossed the northern Rome maid's eyes. I deliberately acted coy, and asked, unable to hide my ambition, "What kind of woman does the crown prince like?" Actually, I didn't need to ask. I already knew Helianya was obsessed with the princess he seized from the Ruran kingdom. Fearing she would escape, he had her watched every step of the way. In my past life, in broad daylight, I was violated by beasts over and over, barely alive. Everyone watched coldly. Only the Ruran princess couldn't bear to watch. He stepped in and stopped their brutality, saving my life. The wariness in the maid's eyes turned into disdain, warning me, the crown prince's preferences are not for a lowly slave like you to inquire about. They threw rouge and powder in front of me, mocking. No wonder they say southerners are all spineless. Your country just fell, and you're already trying to please your new masters, to be a bed-warming slave. Hearing this, all the girls in the tent changed their expressions. They distanced themselves from me. I didn't care. I applied makeup before the bronze mirror, making my features somewhat resemble the Ruran consort. Soon, it was time for the dance offering. I couldn't dance at all. I lingered at the very back. The crown prince's attendant noticed my odd behavior. He frowned deeply. So you really can't dance? Trying to use this chance to escape. Guards, he shouted out loud. Send this unruly camp follower to the lower barracks. The lower barracks housed only northern Rome soldiers. Thousands, even tens of thousands of them. A woman sent there wouldn't survive the night. No fear showed on my face. I smiled and raised an eyebrow. Ordinary dances are too boring. I want to show His Highness something special. Noticing me, please, sir, prepare a horse for me. The attendant's gaze lingered on me for a long time. He gave a faint, eerie smile. You really are different from those southern women. Your eyes are like a wolf's from the grasslands. When a wolf turns back, it's not to return a favor, but to seek revenge. If I gain favor, I won't forget your kindness, sir. I declared my allegiance to him. In the enemy camp, I needed someone who could help me. Inside the tent, there was singing and dancing. The high-ranking nobles of Bay Rome stared with lust at the dancing girls. I was the last to enter the tent. I arrived on horseback, looking dashing and heroic. A loud neigh from my horse drew everyone's attention, including those in the highest seats, the princes. I scanned the tent. In the most inconspicuous spot, I saw my brother Lin Mo, and beside him, Princess Lu Yin, who never left his side. Princess Lu Yin was clinging to him like a limp doll. The once proud little princess had shed her arrogance, acting like a servant. Her delicate hand held a wine cup to my brother's lips. When Lin Mo saw me, his face showed disbelief. Then it turned cold. The wine meant for his lips spilled all over him. It was as if he was silently scolding me, asking why I'd come to such a place. Yeah, I should have been violated by now. I have no right to enter the main tent where the princes reside. A flash of hidden resentment crossed Princess Lu Yin's face, but I had already looked away, focusing entirely on my equestrian performance. Those years at the princess's estate, training and caring for horses, had honed my superb riding skills. With just a whistle, even the wildest Bay Rome horse would obey me. When I finished my performance, the Bay Rome tent fell silent. The eldest prince's gaze lingered on me. With great interest, he asked, "What is your name?" A cold smile blossomed silently within me. My chance for revenge has finally come, not just for my own blood feud, but for the fall of my kingdom as well. I lift my veiled face, revealing eyes, carefully made up to resemble those of Princess Ruran beside him. I say, this slave is named Lin Shi. The crown prince's breath hitches. His gaze lingers on my face, unmoving. You shall stay and serve me tonight. His words are left unfinished, cut off by a lazy, low voice, sitting at his side, with long braided hair, and agate beads dangling from his ears. The second prince bears his sharp canines. His handsome, chiseled face wears a reckless grin. Elder brother already has Princess Ruran. Why not give this slave girl from the military brothel to me? The crown prince's expression darkens slightly. He's still hesitating. The second prince vaults over the wine couch. He forces my chin up with a rough horsewhip, making me meet his gaze, his features sharp and severe. I'll take her. She's just a slave girl. Surely you wouldn't let her come between us, elder brother. He wears a half smile. The cold touch of his whip against my chin makes my body stiffen involuntarily. Fragments of my past life memories of Helian Ju flash through my mind. He's a prince not much favored by the emperor, yet ruthless in his methods, fierce and skilled in battle. Even the crown prince must show him some respect. As he speaks, Helian Ju's light-colored eyes, like strong liquor, casually sweep over Princess Ruran. It suddenly dawned on me. The one the second prince truly loves is also Princess Ruran, his sister-in-law in name. The reason he would stand up to the crown prince, for a slave girl like me, is because he sees a resemblance in my eyes. I'm just a substitute to him. I lowered my gaze. I didn't care at all. No matter who I follow, the most important thing right now is to get out of this military brothel. I can't be sent back there. Helian Ju grabbed my wrist, not letting me pull away. He dragged me back to his seat. During this time, my brother glanced at me several times. I pretended not to see. As the night deepened and the wine flowed, the northern Rome drums reached a fever pitch. The high-ranking officials and nobles at the feast began to let loose. They stripped off their clothes, chasing after the dancing girls. The girls were like fleeing prey. Once caught, their clothes were torn off, and they were taken right there in public. Struggles, pitiful cries, and wild laughter mingled together, pounding relentlessly against my eardrums. My fingers turned ice cold. I could only clasp my hands tightly together to keep them from trembling. One day, I will get them out of here. If the southern dynasty is gone, we'll carve out a new land. Helian Ju drank leisurely, not a ripple of emotion in his eyes, as if he was long accustomed to such debauchery. He suddenly turned and asked me, scared? I froze, hesitating on how to answer. To please him, he held me firmly in his arms. Brother, where are you off to in such a hurry? The crown prince's voice was dark and low. Helian Ju smirked with a roguish air. His long legs had already stepped out of the tent, taking her to do what needs to be done. Ju took me back to his tent. His iron-like arms loosened their grip, and tossed me onto the bed. He went to bathe himself. In the Northern Rong army camp, a female captive like me was destined to lose her purity. Then it's better to use this useless purity to gain status and position for myself. After thinking it through calmly, I looked up and saw Ju had finished bathing. He walked over to me. He had only casually draped a black robe over himself, revealing his long, honey-toned, and solid thighs. The open front of his robe, with beads of water not yet dried, trickled down his muscular chest into the depths. He looked down at me from above. His amber eyes were deep and unfathomable. An unfamiliar, aggressive aura washed over me. Made up your mind? I don't like forcing women. If you want to leave, I can send you back to your tent. But if I touch you, you can only be my woman. If you go back to the camp, you'll only be defiled by more men. I need to survive first, before I can plan for more. Under his waiting gaze, I moved closer. I took the initiative and kissed his lips, then gently bit his Adam's apple. Don't send me back. I'm willing to follow you, your highness. I have to admit, when it comes to conquest, the Northern Rong are much fiercer than the gentle Southerners. He pressed against my waist, pinned me against the table. His teeth grazed the exposed skin on the back of my neck. I couldn't see Ju's expression, but I instinctively sensed danger. The man on top of me was like a wild beast, ready to snap my throat at any moment. His calloused fingers wandered over my neck. Whatever your purpose is, seducing the crown prince, seducing me, he chuckled mockingly in my ear. Be good, little slave. As long as you're not a Southern dynasty spy, I'll keep you by my side a little longer. When I woke the next day, my whole body ached, but it was still much better than my past life. In that life, I nearly lost half my life. Ran a high fever for days. No one cared if a camp prostitute lived or died. I begged the guard, begged him to find Lin Mo. The guard told me, Princess Luine was also ill. My brother took the army doctor to save her, told me to wait a little longer. He didn't have time to see me right then. I endured for 3 whole days, until I pulled through on my own. Only then did Lin Mo finally arrive. He looked at my pale face, a bit annoyed. Xiao, you're not some delicate princess. When did you become so fragile? Brother, take me away. I'm begging you. Those Northern Rong are all beasts. My hands were trembling. I tried to undo my clothes, to show him the scars covering my body. Lin Mo turned his face away, his brow tightly furrowed. Our kingdom has fallen. Where could I take you? All by myself? Xiao, can't you just wait a little longer? I took you away so recklessly. What about Luine? My brother blamed me. At that moment, my eyes widened in shock. Every word he said felt like a knife to my heart. My lips trembled uncontrollably. I already knew it clearly. Deep in my brother's heart, I, his own sister, will never be as important as Princess Luine. It's just that the truth is too heavy, too painful. I couldn't believe it, looking at the torn clothes scattered on the floor. I snapped back to reality. Ju had already left. He left a Northern Rong maid to attend to me. The maid saw the marks all over my body, and her face flushed slightly. She picked up the clothes to help me change. These are new clothes the second prince prepared for you, Madam Lin. And these pieces of jewelry, they are also bestowed upon you by the second prince. I glanced at the clothes I was wearing. They were probably looted from the Southern Dynasty palace. The soft brocade was embroidered with exquisite phoenix patterns, and adorned with jade beads. If our nation hadn't fallen, someone like me, a horse groom in a princess's manner, would never wear such luxurious garments in my lifetime. I still remember, Princess Luine once lost a hairpin. I happened to find it. She insisted I had stolen it. My brother tried to explain for me, but the noble little princess wouldn't listen to a word. She punished us by making us kneel, slapped our faces, and nearly chopped off one of my hands. Having lived 2 lifetimes, even now, I still can't understand. How could my brother hold no grudge, and be so infatuated with that vicious little princess? The Southern Dynasty had just fallen. Ju had many matters to attend to. My maid, Hui, accompanied me to the hill behind the military camp to clear my head. Lin Mo was there too, keeping Luine company. Luine wanted the most beautiful flower from the treetop. Lin Mo fell a few times, but he still climbed that dangerous tree to get it for her. In the past, seeing a scene like this, my heart would ache for him. It would swell with a terrible sourness. But at this moment, looking at Lin Mo, I felt like I was looking at a stranger and an enemy. Princess Luine noticed me. Her gaze paused, turning dark and sharp. Lin Shi, you stop right there. She acted as if she were still in her princess's manner, barking orders at me. You're wearing my princess gown. She was furious. Her eyes brimmed with indignant rage. You lowly stable slave, a camp prostitute, you're not fit to touch my things, she said haughtily. I order you to take it off right now, and give it back to me. Her crying and shouting drew Lin Mo's attention. The flower Lin Mo had worked so hard to pick, just handed to the little princess, was thrown at her feet, and stomped to pieces. Luine, like me, was reduced to a camp prostitute after our kingdom fell. She too wore the tattered clothes of a servant. Princess Luine, always so delicate, couldn't bear this hardship. She lunged at me, trying to tear off my clothes. But before she could touch me, Hui, by my side, stopped her. You insolent little slave. How dare you disrespect someone under the second prince's protection? The northern Rome people are barbaric. They revere martial prowess. Ahui didn't put up with her either. No matter what status she had before the fall of the kingdom, she whipped Luin across the face. I didn't stop her. I watched coldly and indifferently. Luin looked panicked and flustered. She covered her cheek, crying. She begged Lin Mo for help. Your precious sister. She tried to ruin my face. I was just taking back my own clothes. Is that wrong? My brother's face darkened. His eyes were filled with blame as he looked at me. Xiao Xiao, you shouldn't be disrespectful to Her Highness the Princess. Even though the southern dynasty is gone now, the bloodline she carries is still noble. He raised his voice. Xiao Xiao, have you forgotten? You and I used to be horse slaves in the princess's mansion. We only survived thanks to the princess's grace. That's how we've lived to this day. My brother emphasized his words. His face was displeased. Return the clothes to the princess. We come from humble origins. We'll be the princess's slaves for life. We don't deserve to wear such fine clothes. If it were in my past life, I would have obediently listened to him. Returned the clothes to Princess Luin, but the one who once trusted her brother, and waited for her brother to save her until death. Lin, she had long been tortured to death. I coolly raised my eyes. A slight smile curled at the corner of my lips. I am not a lowly slave. As of last night, Hellion Ju has already freed me from slavery. On the contrary, the lofty little princess, to this day, she remains a military prostitute slave by Lin Mo's side. Lin Mo. I called his name. There was no retreat in my eyes. If you want to be her lackey and lowly slave, go ahead and keep being one, but leave me out of it. I'm not. Even if we sever our sibling ties from this day on, I won't back down an inch. Night fell. Hellion Ju returned to his tent. He reclined in a chair draped with tiger skin. His long legs crossed. Candlelight gilded his handsome, imposing profile, making his expression unreadable. The ruby by his ear swayed, glinting with a bloodthirsty, mesmerizing light. Ahui, who had been by my side, reported every detail of today's quarrel to Hellion Ju. Hellion Ju lazily opened his cold amber eyes, and glanced in my direction. Come here. I knew my place well. I obediently walked over to Hellion Ju's side. Did they give you a hard time? He asked in a low, husky voice. Not really. Princess Luin even took a whip for it. She didn't gain any advantage from me, except for my brother's look of disappointment and disgust. That did sting for a moment. Just a moment. Before I left with Ahui, Lin Mo coldly reprimanded me. Xiao Xiao, when did you become like this? You won't even listen to your own brother anymore. Amid Princess Liuin's pitiful sobs, he frowned with disgust and said, is it just because you climbed into the second prince's bed? His eyes were full of ice. I wish I didn't have a sister who clings to power, a sister who doesn't care about the hatred for our fallen country. Her Highness the Princess is nothing like you. She has nightmares every night, and wakes up crying. I don't care about the hatred of a fallen kingdom. What does he amount to? When the capital fell, he defected to the northern Rome people. He even helped them loot and kill. That's how he became a northern Rome general. But I have to admit, the one who knows me best is indeed Lin Mo. I have changed. The hatred of revenge stirs my heartstrings. I too wake up from nightmares every night, but no one cares. In my dreams, I'm back in the dark, sunless military brothel. My tears run dry, until the pain leaves me voiceless, still waiting for Lin Mo to appear. Hellion Ju lowers his hand, stroking my chin. You want me to stand up for you? If I can use Hellion Ju's influence, why wouldn't I? Yes. Hellion Ju gives a roguish smile. Kiss me first. I don't care about useless chastity. Smiling sweetly and obediently, I plant a kiss on his lips. Hellion Ju holds the back of my head, deepening the kiss, until I'm out of breath, and my lips turn red. Only then does he let go. His gaze is dark, as he strokes my lips. Starting tomorrow, she'll be the slave girl serving in your tent. Early in the morning, Princess Luin arrives. Hui holds a whip, guarding her as she kneels, waiting for me to get up. Only then can she rise. I open my eyes, and meet Princess Lu Yin's venomous, hate-filled glare. Concubine Lin, woke up pretty late, didn't you? Must have kept the second prince well serviced last night. The moment Luin opens her mouth, she starts with a sarcastic, mocking tone. I let out a careless laugh. Didn't you, Your Highness, also climb into bed with my brother, to escape the military brothel? Oh, I forgot. You're not the lofty princess anymore, just a lowly servant girl in the army camp. Luin grew agitated, her face flushing red. I'm nothing like you. When your brother was at the princess's manor, he was already infatuated with me. If the southern dynasty hadn't fallen, how could a lowly horse groom like him ever get close to me? See? To have me. Your brother didn't even care if you lived or died. I wouldn't let him touch me. He went out for cold baths every night, not daring to lay a finger on me. Luin wore a smug, mocking smile. I listened calmly. My heart was already numb, beyond feeling pain. My brother got the little princess he'd loved for years, so he sacrificed and abandoned his own sister. Back at the princess's manor, Lin Mo saved money by eating hard buns, saying he'd buy me a big house after buying his freedom, and find me a good husband. It feels like a memory from lifetimes ago. I stationed Luin outside my tent to serve, doing menial chores like washing clothes and fetching water all day. Those hands of hers, slender and fair, were only ever used to play the zither. When the southern dynasty still stood, she luxuriously mixed flour dew with milk to soak and care for those delicate hands. I know this so well, because I was the one who gathered the dew for her before dawn every day. Whether it was the dead of winter or the height of summer, we had to fetch dew for her to soak her hands in, without fail. One year, the summer was exceptionally hot. We couldn't find any dew. The spoiled little princess ordered her men to hold our heads underwater in the pond, until we servants who gathered dew were half drowned. Only then did she, from her high perch, spare our lives. So, making her do menial labor, watching her fingers grow coarse and calloused, is more painful to her than death itself. I took a look at the clothes Luine had washed. The stains were still there. It's as if she didn't wash them at all. I said to Ahui, take the clothes back to her. Tell her to wash them again, until they're clean. After a day of washing clothes, Luine had red, swollen hands from soaking. That evening, when she came in to help me wash up, the water she poured was scalding hot. Luckily, it was discovered. Ahui took that basin of scalding wash water and poured it all over Luine. Luine shrieked from the burn, her eyes blazing red. She stared at me. You're nothing but a bed-hopping, treasonous slut. If I had been the one to seduce the second prince, I could be living the good life too. She couldn't hide the ambition in her eyes. She said excitedly, in my past life, didn't she do the same? After I died, I wandered the mortal world for a while, seeing that my brother wasn't getting promoted. Luine, accustomed to a life of luxury, couldn't take it anymore. Under the cover of night, she sneaked into the tent of the eldest prince, Helian Yao. She offered herself up, and became a bedwarmer for the enemy prince. But the only person the crown prince cares about is the princess of Ruran he took by force. She tried every trick to win his favor and seduce him, but she was just a concubine he used and discarded. She never even got a proper status, yet she was perfectly content. She considered it an honor just to stay by his side. Not long after, my brother died on the battlefield. Luine was lying beside the crown prince, begging for his affection. Given a second chance, I know Lin Mo's future fate, but I have no intention of saving him. After serving me for a few days, Luine couldn't hold back any longer. She poisoned my tea, but all my food and drink are checked by Hui first. The low-grade arsenic she used turned the silver needle black instantly. Northern Rome soldiers dragged Luine and forced her to kneel before me. I stared coldly at the struggling woman in front of me. What did you put in the tea? Lu Yin's face stiffened for a moment. She gritted her teeth and denied it. I don't know. It has nothing to do with me. You lowly wench. If you dare touch me, Lin Mo won't let you get away with it. Seeing her still desperately denying it, I said calmly, since you won't admit it, then drink this cup of tea. She clenched her teeth, refusing to open her mouth. Hui asked me, Madam Lin, should we just force it down her throat? With the second prince backing you, no one would dare cause trouble for you. Letting her die so easily would be too merciful. It was only after I died that I learned. On New Year's Eve, my brother had planned to rescue me. He intended to take advantage of the Northern Rome changing shifts to get me out of the military camp, but his plan was discovered by Luine. Luine deliberately made a scene, begging my brother to take her to offer incense outside the military camp. She secretly informed those Northern Rome people that I intended to escape, telling them to torment me thoroughly, to make me obedient. My death is most directly related to Luine. A dark shadow flickered in my eyes. No rush. I'll make those who owe me slowly pay an equal price. If she won't drink it, then let her kneel. She can get up when she's willing to drink. The look Luine gave me was pure hatred. She was once the most noble princess, while I was just a stable boy in her manor, a human footstool beneath her feet. Now our positions are reversed. She has no choice but to kneel before me and beg for mercy. Luine had only been kneeling for a quarter of an hour when my brother, ignoring the soldiers' attempts to stop him, burst into the tent. Lin Mo, she wanted me dead. Thank goodness you came to save me, Luine cried, rising weakly and throwing herself into my brother's arms. All these days, she's used every method to torment me. Look at my hands. Lin Mo glanced at her hands, chapped from washing clothes. Heartbroken, he tightly clasped them in his palms. He raised his eyes, dark with storm clouds, and chillingly cold, and glared at me. Xiao Xiao, are you still the little sister I watched grow up? Why have you become so vicious? I gazed quietly at my furious brother, standing up for the woman in his arms, as if looking at a stranger. The venom in his words is laughable. I never forced Luine to kneel and serve as my footstool. I never forced her to collect dew before dawn. If she missed a single drop, she'd get a beating. She was just doing the work of a servant in the army camp. Is she still a little princess? Am I supposed to worship her? My brother suddenly spoke up, his tone cold and stiff. Xiao Xiao, apologize to the princess. Can't you just give in to her? She was born noble. Even if the southern dynasty is gone, she is still Her Highness the princess. My brother's tone grew heavier. While we were born lowly, you shouldn't take advantage of her misfortune to bully her like this. Hearing such words from my brother was no surprise at all. In front of Luine, he'll always be a lowly horse groom. He'd abandon his own sister, let her be tortured to death, just to please his little princess. Apologize. She's just a camp prostitute, a servant. Is she worthy? I asked with a cold laugh. My brother looked shocked, unable to believe it. Then his face darkened like leaden clouds. Lin Shi, don't go too far. Don't force me to disown you as my sister. Luyin nestled in his arms, her eyes brimming with tears, looking fragile. You don't need to stand up for me. I'm already a princess of a fallen kingdom. After all, she's your own sister. It doesn't matter. She says I'm a camp prostitute. I am indeed filthy. I should have died for my kingdom the day it fell. Lin Mo's eyes slowly turned bloodshot. He raised his hand, his palm lifted high, and swung towards my face. We depended on each other for so many years, huddled together for warmth in a filthy, stinking stable. If my brother had a piece of steamed bun, he'd break it in half to share with me. When a servant in the manor tried to lay a hand on me, my brother risked his life, charging at that man to fight him. Yet, everything he ever did for me pales in comparison to the little princess in his arms. The first time he wanted to hit me was also for her sake. Lin Shi apologized to the princess. You're just a cheap slut who climbed into his bed. How can you compare to a princess? Luyin is far more pure than you. My brother's eyes were red, lashing out without thinking. His hand never reached my face. Ahui slapped it away first with a backhand. Are you clear-headed now, General Lin? She is the second prince's person. You cannot touch her. My brother turned his face away, his chest heaving violently. I pointed at the teacup and said, she poisoned my cup, intending to kill me. General Lin, what should be done? My brother, eyes red, stiffened his neck and said, is there any proof of this? Luyin is a noble princess. She has no reason to harm your life. Since General Lin protects her so fiercely, you shall take her punishment. I spoke coldly. The person before me was no longer my brother. In this life and the last, his choice has always been Princess Luyin. I had him gagged. 30 military canes. Each strike was more brutal than the last. They landed on his body. His eyes were filled with a complex mix of hatred, fixed intently on me. He probably regretted all these years of looking after me at the princess's manor, of standing up for me. He regretted having a sister like me. I regretted it too, having a brother like Lin Mo. After the caning was over, Luyin pretended to be heartbroken and held him, wiping the cold sweat from his forehead. These small gestures of kindness moved him immensely, making him even more loyal to Luyin. I'm fine. I'm just a servant. How could I let the princess do this for me? Lin Mo looked overwhelmed with gratitude, his voice trembling. Luyin supported him, biting her lip, looking like she was about to cry. She's your own sister. Yet she was so ruthless. She doesn't care about you as a brother at all. After sowing discord, she turned and gave me a cold, sinister look. Lin Shi, don't get too cocky. Everything you have, I'll have it too, sooner or later. It seems she plans to ditch my foolish brother and climb to a higher branch. Lin Mo was still completely unaware, leaning against Luyin, looking deeply moved. That night, the wooden bed in the military camp creaked under the strain. I obediently fulfilled my role as a bed-warming servant. Helian Ju didn't ask a single question about what happened today, as if he was indulging my reckless behavior. These past few days, he was often absent, seeming very busy and overworked. Once in bed, he wouldn't say a word, just roughly taking his pleasure with me. Afterwards, he'd fall asleep immediately. His closed eyes, dark and thick, cast shadows like two swords. I only glanced once, then calmly looked away. In bed and out of bed, body and soul, I keep them separate. I trade my body for shelter and power, but this heart will never be given to the Northern Rome people. I won't develop feelings for a prince of an enemy nation. Late at night, lying beside Helian Ju, I couldn't sleep soundly. I heard a woman's moans, like crying, like pain, intermittent, echoing in the darkness. After Helian Ju left in the morning, I couldn't help but quietly ask Ah Hui, did you hear a woman's cries last night? Ah Hui looked unsurprised. You mean the Princess of Ruran? The Crown Prince enjoys tormenting people. You should know that well. The second prince is even more ferocious. Last night, he nearly broke the bed frame. My face grew hot. But it's different. The Princess of Ruran sounded like she was in real pain. Although I'm a slave from the military camp, Helian Ju still has some restraint. Every time he takes me, he's like a beast. But at most, he makes me cry and beg. He doesn't make me scream in agony. Ah Hui nodded. The Crown Prince has some peculiar tastes. Helian Yao's methods were cruel and vicious. I had heard of them in my past life. If I weren't truly desperate, I wouldn't have thought to use horsemanship to catch his attention. The Ruran princess consort is pure and chaste. She was taken by force from Ruran by the eldest prince. All these years, the eldest prince has only had her body, never her heart. The Ruran princess consort has never smiled for anyone. The eldest prince always says taming a woman is like breaking a horse. You have to be a bit cruel. So, Huey's voice dropped low. The eldest prince is particularly brutal in bed. He even likes to invite his men to watch, forcing the Ruran princess consort to submit. In bed, Helian Ju pressed down on my waist, dissatisfied, increasing his force. The pain snapped me out of my thoughts. I met his gaze, those deep, wolf-like amber eyes. What are you thinking about? Helian Ju bit my shoulder, asking hoarsely. Men of the grasslands are full of wildness. He likes to bite me, leaving all sorts of marks on my body. My voice was also soft and hoarse, as I asked him, the Ruran princess consort is being tortured and treated like that. Don't you care? Why don't you try to take her back? I know the Northern Rome people are fierce and cold-blooded, but towards the one you love, I don't believe you can remain indifferent. Sweat dripped from Helian Ju's jaw. He held my waist, turning me to face him. On his honey-colored chest muscles was a strange, dark blue-green tattoo. Those light-colored, beastly eyes looked down, staring straight at my face. He smiled, amused and cruel. Why should I save her? You're not fond of Helian Ju's feelings for the Princess of Rurin are just my speculation. During our time together lately, he hasn't shown the slightest hint of it. So, he's been faking it. Faking an interest in his sister-in-law. Little slave girl. What do I like? Shouldn't you know best? He took his time, gently biting my neck. In the end, I was dizzy, holding on to Helian Ju's neck. Tomorrow, I want to see the Princess of Rurin. Helian Ju's deep gaze lingered on me. He didn't say yes, nor did he say no. I arrived at the eldest prince's tent. As expected, I was stopped. The eldest prince fears she might escape, so no one is allowed to approach the Princess of Rurin freely. Luckily, I saw the attendant who selected the dancers that day. After following the second prince, I gave him a reward. This time, he was the one who led me into the tent. The Princess of Rurin wore a plain silk dress, playing the zither. Her face was serene and elegant. After finishing a piece, she finally asked me, "Who are you?" Her gaze paused on me for a moment. Then she said, "You're the horse-taming girl from that day. Why have you come to see me?" Her slender fingers plucked the zither strings twice more. "I am also trapped in a cage, unable to help you with anything." I smiled slightly. "I don't need your highness's help. I only wish to keep you company." Over the next few days, I simply accompanied the Princess of Rurin. She rarely spoke to me, just played the zither by herself. The guards were still on their guard at first. After a few days, they realized I was just there to keep the Rurin consort company. They stopped questioning me so much. One day, when I arrived, the crown prince had just stormed off in a rage. The consort had fallen to the floor. Her dress was torn. Her porcelain skin was covered in fresh wounds. I said to the maids around me, "What are you standing around for? Go get some medicine for her wounds." The Rurin consort trembled slightly under my touch. I whispered to comfort her, in a voice only she could hear, "Don't be afraid. I'll find a way to get you out of here." She was stunned for a moment, then pretended she hadn't heard a thing. I took the ointment from a maid. I gently and carefully applied it to her wounds. Beneath her simple clothes, her body, which should have been flawless and smooth, was covered in scars of all sizes, layer upon layer, all left by Helian Yao. That beast. I accompanied the Rurin consort behind the screen to change her clothes. The maids Helian Yao left behind tried to follow. I narrowed my eyes and glared at them. "What? I'm not a man. Do you think I'm going to defile your mistress? It's just a tiny space. Is she going to grow wings and fly away?" Only then did the two maids stop. After finally getting rid of the two maids, the Rurin consort asked me softly, "Why are you helping me? In a past life, she saved my life. I owe her this. I can't just watch Helian Yao torture her to death." "Your Highness, do you believe in past lives and present lives?" "I had a dream. I saw that your Highness met a terrible fate. After waking up, I heard your Highness sobbing in the night. I couldn't help but want to help you." The Rurin princess consort's beautiful eyes rested on me. "You look familiar to me too, like I've seen you somewhere before. I believe you sincerely want to help me, but Helian Yao keeps a very close watch on me. Over the years, I've tried, but I was always discovered and brought back." I said gently, "In a few months, merchants from the northern tribes will come. Your Highness must find a way to blend in with them. These merchants come from several places on the steppe. As long as your Highness leaves with them, Helian Yao won't immediately find out where you've gone. After your Highness leaves the Western Rome, find a way to return to Rurin. But before that, someone needs to become Helian Yao's new favorite, to divert his attention." A few days later, Helian Yao's favorite Fergana horse fell ill. It collapsed in the stable, unable to stand. I took the initiative to find Helian Yao's horse trainer. "Let me give it a try. I might be able to cure the crown prince's beloved horse." The horse trainer was skeptical. "Who are you?" "The crown prince's beloved horse is worth a fortune. It was a tribute from the Fergana kingdom. If you kill it, you'll be buried with the crown prince's beloved horse." It was the Rurin princess consort who stepped forward. "Step aside. Let her in to treat it. If anything goes wrong, I'll take responsibility for her." Only after they saw the Rurin princess consort did they allow me to enter the stable. I found an embroidery needle and pricked a few acupuncture points. Under the astonished gaze of the horse trainer, the paralyzed horse immediately stood up. The story of curing the crown prince's beloved horse quickly spread. Lin Mo found me and spoke to me in a commanding tone. "Xiao Xiao, you're already the second prince's favorite concubine. There's no need to show off anymore. Give this opportunity to Princess Luyin. Say she was the one who cured the crown prince's horse." Luyin came with my brother. She lifted her face, looking at me with a pitiful expression. "We're both from the southern dynasty. Shouldn't we help each other? Curing the crown prince's horse is just icing on the cake for you. But for me, it could help me shed my slave status." Luyin wanted to grab my hand, looking urgent and on the verge of tears. "Lin Shi, you'll agree, won't you?" Whether it was curing the crown prince's beloved horse, or them coming to beg me, it was all part of my plan. But Lin Mo's entitled, commanding tone still left a bitter taste in my mouth. I'm his sister, so I should be the one to suffer. To hand over all the benefits to someone else, and give them to that high and mighty, domineering Luyin? "Xiao Xiao." Lin Mo raised his voice. His expression was urgent and coercive. "The princess is already begging you like this. It's just a small credit for curing a horse. You still won't agree?" I looked at them, and gave them a faint, fleeting smile, but my eyes were like deep pools, devoid of any real mirth. Are you sure you want me to give up the credit? Fine, I'll let her have it. Just don't regret it later. Trying to snatch credit from my hands isn't as easy as you think. Do they still think I'm that helpless, naive girl from my past life, waiting for them to come to my rescue? The next day, Helianyao publicly rewarded those who had cured his horse. The grooms from the stable had seen me, but they didn't know my name or identity. That gave Lu Yin the chance to take my place. Yesterday, who was it that cured my beloved horse? Helianyao's voice rang out. Lu Yin gracefully stood up. She walked with light steps, basking in the attention. She knelt before Helianyao, and said in a soft, delicate voice, "It was I who cured your highness's horse yesterday." Helianyao was clearly intrigued. His narrow eyes narrowed further. "I've seen you before. You're the little princess from the former dynasty. I never imagined a princess would know veterinary skills." Lu Yin had her explanation ready. She replied calmly, "I also enjoy horse racing, so I made a point to study it in the Southern Dynasty Palace." Before she could finish, an attendant rushed over to Helianyao's side. "Your highness, the horse is foaming at the mouth again, and convulsing non-stop." Helianyao's face darkened. Lu Yin, kneeling before him, couldn't help but tremble. "How did you treat the horse? Why isn't it cured? If my horse doesn't recover today, you, the former dynasty princess, will be buried with it." Lu Yin's knees go weak. Her face is pale. She says in a panic, "It wasn't me. Someone else treated the horse. It has nothing to do with me." She points at me in a panic. Her face contorts. "It was you who set me up, wasn't it? You were the one who treated the horse yesterday. You're the one who failed to cure the first prince's beloved horse. Yes, you should be the one buried with that beast." The first prince looks at me with some surprise. He raises an eyebrow slightly. "It's you, the one who performed the equestrian act, and was then taken by my second brother." In his eyes, a sickening interest stirs. At this critical moment, my brother steps forward. "He's not protecting me, but Lu Yin, your highness, you're mistaken. My sister is skilled in veterinary medicine and horse training. She was truly the one who treated the horse yesterday. It has nothing to do with Lu Yin." Rain begins to fall from the sky. The fine, dense raindrops land on me, and seep coldly into my heart. As long as he can protect his little princess, my brother can push me to my death, again and again. The first prince comes before me. He lifts a strand of my long hair. "Little slave girl, if you can't cure my beloved horse, you'll stay and warm my bed. You'll repay me for my horse." I suppress my disgust and say, "This servant will not disappoint your highness." I walk to the stable, looking at the horse clinging to half a life. I'm not the least bit worried. I write down a few herbs, and order someone to fetch them. Once you find it, crush all the herbs into a paste, then feed it into the sick horse's mouth. We didn't have to wait long. The Fergana horse let out a whinny, and was fully restored once again. The crown prince laughed, his eyes dark and unreadable as he stared at me. Fortunately, Princess Ruren spoke up just in time. She even gave Helianyao a rare smile, instantly capturing the crown prince's full attention. "My love, you finally smiled. Is it because of this slave girl?" Princess Ruren said calmly. "She does have talent. She's cured your highness's horse twice now. Your highness should reward and punish accordingly." The one who truly cured the horse almost had her credit stolen. Helianyao finally remembered the two kneeling people, holding Princess Ruren. He was overjoyed. "My love, how should we punish these two imposters?" Princess Ruren glanced at me. She knew. Lin Mo is my own brother. But I didn't move a muscle. I made no attempt to plead for him. Princess Ruren continued. "I don't wish to see bloodshed. No need to take lives. Your highness can decide the rest." Helianyao gave the order. He stripped Lin Mo of his general's rank, and demoted him to a laborer in the military camp. Also demoted to laborer was the once proud as a peacock Lu Yin. When we met again, Helianju took me away from the camp, to get some fresh air. He caressed my waist, and whispered by my ear, "Who do you want as your footstool?" Among this row of slaves, I saw Lu Yin, too afraid to look up, her face ashen. She had been reduced to a human footstool, to be trampled underfoot. Back in the princess's manner, I knelt at her feet, letting her stomp on my back again and again. Yet she complained, "This wretched slave is nothing but bones, so skinny, it's uncomfortable to trample her." She bruised my feet. Then, with her foot, she pressed down hard, nearly crushing the vertebrae in my back. Because I had been a human footstool myself, I didn't choose a single one of these slaves, and boarded the carriage myself. In the evening, Helianju had to leave early on some business, and I returned to the military camp in the carriage. At the slaves' quarters, I saw two familiar figures. Lu Yin, with tears in her eyes, as if she had suffered a grave injustice, slapped my brother hard across the face. I sat inside the carriage, watching with a cold gaze. Her face was twisted with rage, as she loudly berated him. "Why did you save me back then? You ruined my chance. If you hadn't taken me away, I would have been like your sister, a favored concubine by the second prince's side. You did it on purpose, didn't you?" My brother pressed his lips tightly together, not uttering a single word of rebuttal. Instead, he looked at Lu Yin's reddened palm, to see if it hurt from the slap. Those people in my past life weren't wrong. My brother was an obedient dog by her side. Lu Yin pushed him away with utter disgust. "You're just a horse slave, with no official rank or status left. What gives you the right to touch me? Hurry up and help me think of something. I want to live a life of luxury too." You offered me to the Grand Prince. I want to be the Grand Prince's favorite concubine too. Lu Yin has some self-awareness. She knows the second prince won't want her, so she set her sights on the Grand Prince. But being the Grand Prince's favorite concubine is no easy task. Aside from the Ruran Princess, no woman who stayed by his side has lived for more than half a year. Back at the camp, a goshawk landed on Helian-ju's arm. With practiced ease, he retrieved a secret message from its talons. I thought about what happened in my previous life. Helian-ju led a rebellion, but in the end, he was no match for the Grand Prince, and perished in the vast grasslands. He's not as carefree as he appears on the surface. He's not without ambition, or obsessed with his sister-in-law. He's just hiding his true capabilities, creating deliberate weaknesses. Little slave girl, I gave you a chance. You didn't run away. After reading the secret message, he patted his long leg, gesturing for me to sit on his lap. I looked at him intently, and said slowly, Second Highness, I have a name. My name is Lin Shi. His amber eyes flickered with hidden currents. What do you want to say? I said calmly, I want to help you, Second Highness, ascend to the throne, and conquer the entire grasslands. Helian-ju smiled, revealing his sharp canine teeth. With one punch, he smashed the table. Little Lin Shi, do you know what you're saying? I didn't flinch under his chilling presence, his intimidating eyes. I smiled. I want to make a deal with you, Second Prince. If I help you become the most powerful man on the steppe, then you'll let me go. He gave a wild, beautiful smirk. You're just a slave, a concubine by my side. What could you possibly offer me? That's my trump card. I can't tell him that. Just answer me, Your Highness. Are you willing to make this deal or not? Helian-ju lazily rested his hands behind his head. He was silent for a moment. Then he suddenly asked, What do you know about me, to dare make a deal? I didn't know much about him, but I knew what was going to happen. His amber eyes were like ripples in a stormy lake, rolling over me, one wave after another. I'm not the Khan's son, he said coldly, uttering the words with eerie calm. What? He's not even related to the Crown Prince? A flicker of shock crossed my face, but I hid it well. Helian-ju expected my reaction. He scoffed. The Khan found and adopted me. A shaman prophesied I would unite the steppe tribes. That's why he kept me. But no one in Beirong accepts me. No one compares me to the Crown Prince. I'm nowhere near his equal. And you still want to make a deal with me? I raised my palm and high-fived Helian-ju 3 times. I will assist and support the second prince. And I ask that your highness keep your promise in the future. Without incident, I walked out of the tent. I ran into Lin Mo, who had been waiting for me. Every time he comes to see me, it's always about Lu Yin. I couldn't help but sneer. I asked him coldly, Brother, what do you want from me this time? Lin Mo looked like he had just been crying. His eyes were red, and half his face was flushed. He looked utterly pathetic. For a moment, I doubted if the person before me was really the brother, who could tame wild horses and was once incredibly brave. He stammered, Little sister, I'm begging you for the last time. Please help Her Highness the Princess. He spoke with great difficulty. Send her to the Crown Prince's side. I couldn't hold back anymore, and burst out laughing. That he could endure to this extent was completely beyond my expectations. To grovel and beg me, just to help the woman he loves, become another man's favorite concubine. I laughed, my eyes growing wet. The vast sky of cold stars blurred before my eyes. How ridiculous. In my past life, I waited for someone like this to save me. His own dignity and life are less important than Lu Yin, let alone me. Lin Mo, who is more important, me or Lu Yin? Lin Mo had never considered this question. Now that he heard it, he couldn't answer. A pained, self-mocking smile appeared on my face. I'm your own sister. When you chose to take her away, you must have thought about what would happen to me. They'll take turns with me until I'm dead. Lin Mo, I'll die beneath a man. A filthy, ugly death. Do you feel even a shred of regret? You told me to wait, that you'd come save me. That was just a lie, wasn't it? My brother rubbed at a stain on his sleeve from hard labor. His eyes darted away. His pale face showed only guilt. Xiao, why ask about that now? Isn't it good that you're now the second prince's favorite concubine? At least you have food to eat, people to serve you. No one bullies you anymore. My brother's voice was humble, tinged with a plea. Stop dwelling on it. Help the princess. I'm begging you. When she knelt there, being used as a footstool, my heart shattered. I hated my own uselessness for making her suffer with me. Maybe His Highness was right. I shouldn't have chosen her back then. She's so beautiful, so noble. She was bound to be taken by a prince, to live a better life. Turns out, when you hear the most foolish, laughable words, you can't even laugh. I slowly exhaled. Moonlight fell into my eyes, turning to ice crystals. I smiled. This is the last time I help you. My brother smiled faintly with relief. Xiao, you're my only sister. I knew you'd help me. My tone shifted, cold, devoid of any feeling. From now on, don't call me Xiao anymore. I have no brother, so no matter what you come begging for next time, I won't agree to it. Lu Yin was transferred from the slave tent to serve by my side. I asked Helian-ju to find the best dancer from the grasslands to teach her their passionate dance. Lu Yin knew very well this was her only chance to climb the social ladder. She studied with exceptional diligence. In just 3 months, she had mastered the essence of the grassland dance, passionate and grand, alluring and delicate. The night before sending Lu Yin to perform, I gave Lin Mo a bottle of medicine. This medicine, find a way to put it in the Crown Prince's food. A flicker of hesitation crossed Lin Mo's face. After he takes it, he'll become utterly infatuated with Luin. Isn't that what you all want? I watched him slowly tighten his grip on the bottle, his fingers trembling slightly. But I knew perfectly well, Lin Mo would definitely put it in, even if it were poison, for the little princess's future. He would risk his life for her. Hellion Ju brought me news, mocking me with a half-smile. Your brother is truly a lovesick fool. I had just finished bathing. Hellion Ju's gaze darkened. He hooked my belt, and pulled me to the bedside. His slender fingers took a cloth to dry my hair. What happened to him? I just asked casually. His life or death has nothing to do with me anymore. Hellion Ju pulled me onto his lap. With a flick of his tongue, he said, you're quite something. You convinced your brother to get himself castrated, and become the crown prince's personal eunuch. I didn't care. It was his own choice. Only by becoming a eunuch could he win Hellion Yao's trust, and put the medicine in his food. That day, Lu Yin, clad in a red gauze dress, danced gracefully in Hellion Yao's tent. Lin Mo, now a eunuch, poured a cup of wine for the grand prince. After finishing the wine, Lu Yin seemed to stumble, and fell right into Hellion Yao's arms. My brother watched them leave. For several nights in a row, Hellion Yao stayed by Lu Yin's side. Day and night, they were lost in passion. Before this, I had already made a plan with the ruined princess. During these days of Lu Yin's favor, she left a look-alike double in the tent, and slipped away with a caravan of foreign merchants. She was gone for good. It wasn't until the 5th day that Hellion Yao finally left Lu Yin's tent. Apart from the ruined princess, the grand prince had never doted on anyone like this. Everyone thought Lu Yin would become the grand prince's concubine. Even Lu Yin herself believed it. She summoned me, dressed in finery. She reclined coquettishly on a tiger-skin rug. Lin Shi, did you ever imagine this day would come, when you were riding high? Come here and pour my tea. Lu Yin, brimming with pride, commanded loudly. Ah Hui moved to pour the tea for me, but was slapped several times by Lu Yin's maid. Who do you think you are? How dare you serve tea to my lady? I pulled Ah Hui back behind me, not showing a hint of shame or anger. I calmly brought the tea to Lu Yin. You were my former mistress. It's only right that I serve you. Lu Yin watched as the scalding tea burned my fingers. She deliberately didn't take it, making me kneel. My gaze sharpened with determination. But this is the last time you'll ever drink tea offered by me. Before Lu Yin could grasp the meaning of my words, Hellion Yao entered with a face full of cold fury. He strode quickly into the tent. The veins on his hands bulged, as he choked Lu Yin's neck with a death grip, scaring the maids into fleeing in all directions. He choked Lu Yin until she was barely breathing, still not understanding what she had done to anger Hellion Yao. Your Highness, bitch, where have you hidden my Schwer? Schwer was the name of the ruined princess. By the time Hellion Yao discovered her disappearance, it was too late. He led troops to search for a whole day, but found no trace of the ruined princess. In his rage, Hellion Yao killed many people to vent his anger. Finally, the executioner's blade loomed over Lu Yin's head. I quietly withdrew from Lu Yin's tent with Ah Hui, my expression calm, listening to the woman's pleas and screams coming from inside. During these days, I had deliberately distanced myself from the ruined princess, staying by the second prince's side. No one would connect the ruined princess's disappearance with me. Hellion Yao suspected the princess's disappearance was related to Lu Yin. It was during the days she was favored that the ruined princess escaped. By nightfall, the screams still hadn't stopped. Ah Hui told me the eldest prince had completely lost his mind. He was terrifyingly violent. He hung Lu Yin up, and began slicing her flesh piece by piece, forcing her to reveal the princess's whereabouts. Lin Mo is back again. He broke through the guards outside the tent, covered in wounds, and dropped straight to his knees, making a loud thud, begging me, save her. She's about to be tortured to death. I barely lifted my eyelids. Wasn't this your own choice back then? One shouldn't be too greedy. You can't have it both ways. You begged me to give her the credit. I did. Then you begged me again to send her to the crown prince's side to win his favor. I did that too. I won't help you again. Lin Mo knelt before me, his head covered in dust, blood streaming down his face, still kowtowing to me non-stop. I was wrong. Please, let us go. It's too late. I opened my dark eyes, and said calmly, ever since I came back, I've been setting up this game of death. Those who owe me, those I hate, none will escape. Not long after, the fact that Lin Mo put an aphrodisiac in the crown prince's food was also exposed by the crown prince's attendants. Although it wasn't directly linked to the ruined princess consort's escape, Hellion Yao still didn't spare them. They're just 2 Southern Dynasty slaves, not worth sparing. In these chaotic times, human life is the cheapest thing. Lu Yin was eventually executed by dismemberment. Lin Mo was torn apart by 5 horses. Their corpses were discarded on the grassland, left for wild beasts to devour. Hellion Ju asked me if I was going to collect my brother's body. After all, he's my only family. I smiled as I read the secret letter from Ruren. The princess consort has safely returned to her homeland, Ruren, and reunited with the ruler. The ruler is immensely grateful to me, and is willing to repay this favor however he can. When Hellion Ju mentioned my brother's name, my gaze only paused for a moment. No, I burned the letter in my hand, and said in an utterly ordinary tone, my brother died a long time ago. He spent his life protecting his little princess. He lost me long ago. In the winter of the 16th year of Shinwu, a great war broke out on the grasslands. The second prince, Hellion Ju, rose rose in rebellion. The second prince had only 30,000 personal guards, far from a match for the first prince Helian Yao's 100,000 cavalry. Helian Ju took me and we galloped in retreat, arriving at Fulong Valley, the place where he met his end in my past life. The winter wind, carrying relentless frost and snow, howled and swept across the vast grasslands. The two armies faced each other. The outcome seemed already decided. Helian Yao, seated on his Fergana horse, was proud as a god, looking down on us ants with contempt. Back when the southern dynasty fell, Helian Yao rode into the imperial city just as arrogantly. His blade was stained with blood, slaughtering the entire city, sparing no one, old or young, man or woman. In front of the women, he dashed their swaddled infants to death. Then he forcibly took the women back to the military brothel, for his men to humiliate and trample upon. Just a bastard, he sneered coldly with disdain. The shaman back then was also blind, to claim you could unite the grasslands. He tricked my father into adopting a wild wolf like you. Helian Ju, do you see clearly now? Who is the true king of the grasslands? Helian Ju tightened his grip on the knife in his hand. He leaned in and whispered in my ear, scared? If we die together here, we can still be a pair of ghostly lovebirds. Even at this life or death moment, he still had that careless, nonchalant attitude. I laughed. Who will die? Is still hard to say. I put my fingers to my lips and let out a sharp whistle. Suddenly, the Fergana horse Helian Yao was riding went berserk. It wouldn't obey commands. It threw the rider off its back. Its hooves raised high and came crashing down. Helian Yao dodged swiftly, but his beloved horse still trampled and broke his arm. A murderous aura blazed in his eyes. He fixed me with a look that could skin and deb one. It was you. You tampered with my horse. I met his gaze directly. Your Highness, do not underestimate an ant. As long as a southerner lives, the heart for revenge never dies. As my whistle faded, the rumble of countless hooves rose from the depths of the vast grasslands. The Ruran people, with the full force of their nation, mobilized all their troops to help me seek vengeance, and to avenge Helian Yao for stealing a bride. 3 months later, under the joint siege of Helian Ju and the Ruran, the crown prince was defeated. He was then beheaded by the bastard brother he had looked down upon for years. 1 year later, Helian Ju, with his tactics, seized control of the armies, and unified the entire grassland. The shaman's prophecy came true in this lifetime. The day the steppe was unified, he rode his horse, like an arrow, from the horizon where the grassland met the sky, galloping right up to me. Shao Shao, I did it. My coronation is tomorrow. I will be the king of the entire steppe. Be my queen. I looked at him with calm eyes. Your Highness, do you remember our agreement? I help you unify the steppe. You give me my freedom. He frowned. Becoming queen isn't better than freedom. I love you. I cherish you. I can share everything in the world with you. Helian Ju tried to keep me. I knelt down. It was the first time I had ever knelt to him. Hey Ju, I only ask for one thing. Let the Southern Dynasty people leave. But the Southern Dynasty has already fallen. Where could you possibly go? He was puzzled. His brow furrowed tightly. A nation is needed for a home to exist. No, a home will give rise to a nation. I looked at him with determined eyes. Generation after generation of Southern Dynasty people will thrive. They can build a new homeland. Please grant them their freedom. In the end, Helian Ju agreed. I led the remaining several thousand Southern Dynasty people, most of them battered women from the military camps. As we trudged along, leaving the steppe, I didn't force them to stay. If they met the right person or found a suitable place, they were free to leave at any time. Helian Ju followed on horseback, escorting us all the way back to the central plains. I waved to him. Go back. You belong to the steppe. Helian Ju said nothing. He just stood on the hill, gazing into the distance, until I, leading the Southern Dynasty people, disappeared from his sight. He caught up. Emotions churned, suppressed in his eyes. Will you remember me? I paused for a moment, then smiled and nodded. I will remember. All these Southern Dynasty people will remember. It was you who gave us our freedom. After that day, Helian Ju and I never saw each other again. From then on, the Southern Dynasty people lived in obscurity, returning to the Central Plains, to start new lives, until the day of my wedding, when I found a gift outside the door, a meticulously carved wooden sculpture, a young woman on horseback, radiantly performing equestrian feats. Every detail, from her hair to her smiling lips, was lifelike. I knew, the one on the steppe had not forgotten, and I would not forget him either. We just would never meet again.